Okay, so this video is going to be so much different than my other videos. I normally don't talk in my videos. I normally don't. Unless it's like a stream, I'm not visually speaking. It's just a video that I decided to make, but this is one that I need people to see. Those of you that are going through something hard, that need some motivation, and need some words of wisdom, I guess. I mean, I'm not like a therapist or anything, but those of you going through something, please watch this, because this is my story. So lately, my depression has been getting like 2 times worse, and because of this, I have had many dark thoughts going through my head, and just everything, nothing good, never is. With depression, it's kind of a cruel mystery. You never know what's gonna pop into your head next, and when it's gonna take over. And when it does, you seem to lose rationality, and you lose yourself in that. To those of you that have thought of suicide, to those of you that self-harm, and that have tried to find so many ways to negate this, I'm here to tell you that there are ways to control it. It is not easy. It is not. But there is ways to control your depression, to kind of mimic it into something else. This isn't going to work for everyone, because this is me. But I have learned there's 2 ways to every bad situation. 2 different parts. There's anger, and there's depression. To every bad situation. I channel the depression into anger, and release the anger. And that seems to help me. To those of you that haven't tried to figure out how to control it, but need to, you need to experiment with it. Although you don't want to do anything, the depression makes you say, just get your ass back in bed, and you're not worth anything. You can't do anything right. Everything's going wrong. You're so dumb. Just go back to bed. You need to just tell that just fuck you and get your ass out of bed. Because in order to fix this, you have to be willing to experiment with it, to try to figure out what is going on, what causes it, what helps with it. And in this cruel world with all these people that just try to fucking use you, that just try to do everything in their power to shoot you down, it's gonna be hard. It is. It always will be. But you need to find a way past it. Because if you don't, it'll just eat at you the rest of your life. And if you let it eat at you, where are you gonna get? You can't give in. Because depression is a war. It is a war that you can't afford to lose. Don't let yourself lose. It is very easy to lose to this. And it's the one single thing you can't let yourself do. Because losing this war means that not only did you lose one thing, the one big thing you had, your life, but you hurt so many people in so many big ways. Another thing that helps, and it's so hard because of all the evil people in this world that don't give a crap about you, is to find those couple of people that really do care. That will be there till the end. Couple friends that, no matter what happens, no matter who you become, will still be there. I have a group of people at school. We are basically like a sanctuary to each other. No matter what happens, we can just text one of them and they will be willing to listen and give the best advice that they can. As of last week, my depression got so bad before I learned how to control it. Morally than I have before. But I recently got out of what was so-called a relationship when I don't consider it one because it never got into anything far enough as to have been called a relationship. But that whole situation made me think about so many different things in so many ways. And I realized that sometimes being the good person can take a toll on somebody. It can. Because this girl, she had had so many problems with people in her life to the point where she was scared of most men. The sight, just a man being around her, would scare her. Do you know how messed up that is? That people would have let it get that far. And I was one of the couple people that were different from that. But now this wasn't 100% my fault. But I fucked it up. I came on too strong. I am too protective. I am protective because of what happened to me in 4th grade. One of my friends had committed suicide. I don't ever want to feel that pain again, and if knowing that someone's depression and the war that they're going through is getting harder and harder as the days go by, it stresses me out. Because she had made attempts before. And that scared me. I was always on her back, checking on her, making sure she was okay because I was scared. And I think that's what messed it up. And I know this wasn't completely my fault because I did nothing wrong. I might have came on too strong and did all the right things too much. But I did nothing wrong. And regardless of how much pain she put me through, if she came back as a friend, I would let her in. I would. Because the amount of just the amazing personality, the beauty that this girl has, but the pain she's been through, I would always let her in. I care too much. I've had people tell me I care too much about some people, and I tell myself all the time I hate people. But if I allow someone into my life enough to where I care about them, there's no possible way I could ever hate them. It's impossible. Unless they did something so devious, so bad, that I couldn't handle it to the point where it just tore me apart. Then I would always let them in. Because she never did anything on purpose, like to hurt me. Never anything straight up to hurt me. She never did. I have reasons to believe that she saved my life. Because there was one day that I wasn't right in my head. I was on a walk and I texted her. She called me within the next 5 seconds. She talked to me for the next 5 hours. And I was okay after that. To think that I messed up something like that hurts me. Because there was more anger than sadness related to this and I fucked it up. Like, in the end, I wasn't sad. I was mad because I didn't understand what was going on, and I didn't know if I was supposed to understand or not. I didn't know what was going on. Me being the person that I am, it just worried me more. Because it seems like if someone has gotten to the point where I care about them, it's hard for me not to care anymore. She made her way into my life. And at this point, it's hard to see her just ignoring me and never talking to me. It's hard to see it. Even though the relationship didn't last more than a week. It's about a week. There's still feeling. There's still care left. There always will have been. And I can't help to think that I lost my chance to help this girl. And she told me that she did not want help. She didn't want it. Which surprised me. Because if someone is this destined to help you, why deny it? But now I finally realized that it was because of her past. She let people in too fast. And let them help her too fast to the point where it only hurt her. And I realize that now when it's already too far. I can't fix it anymore. So I messed up there. And then one of my best friend, Ben, that has always been there for me and always will, he introduced me to this girl, Bridget. I have never even seen her in real life. I've talked to her over games for the past, 3 days. And the stories that I have heard about people just using her makes me sick. Because I don't see why people would want to hurt someone like that. Use someone like that. Just for their own gain. I don't get it. Because there's already so much pain. There's already so much hate. And so much just so many bad things in this world. Why would you want to add to it? And I was telling her about my group at school and kind of how we were just like a sanctuary for each other. We would always be there for each other regardless of what happened. And we invited her to be a part of it. And she told me that there was a voice in the back of her head saying that it was too good to be true. That all of these good people seemed too good to be true. How sick does that seem? There are that many terrible people in this world to the point where it's unnatural to find a good person. How in the hell does that work? Please explain, how does that work? It's unnatural to find the good people. To find people that really do care about somebody. It's unnatural. Based off of what I've heard and what she said and the way that she has been, she already has my stamp of approval. I will be around her regardless. Because she has such a big heart by what I've seen, but no one's ever given her anything back. No affection, no nothing. The one person she actually thought really cared about her ended up fucking her over. And it kind of hurts me. because of one little thing that happened, they just abandoned her. That's how this life is, and it's sickening. The amount of stories that I can tell you of the greatest people I've ever met, the nicest people, the ones with the biggest hearts, of them being treated like shit, of terrible things happening to them, is insane. My friend Izzy, she has probably one of the biggest hearts I've ever seen in my life. She's probably one of the sweetest people I've ever known. And just the amount of terrible things that people have done to her in the past, the amount of fake friends she has, the amount of trauma she has been through because of people hurts me. I could say so much good about this girl. So much. I could probably write a 20-page essay front and back about how much good there is in this girl. Yet her whole life she's been treated like shit. So many people ask, where are the good guys? Where are the good girls? Where are all the good people at? It's a dying breed. Because this world kicks you down so much to the point where you learn to adapt to it. And people have learned that being the bad guy, you get more advantages. But why be a terrible person just to gain an advantage? And what advantage are you exactly gaining from any of this? Just being an asshole to everyone? Is that an advantage? Making people hate you, is that an advantage? Tearing people down just because you think it's funny, is that an advantage? Not even in the slightest. Yet that's what people do. It's one of my old friends, no longer my friend, Damius was his name. For about 3 years, I trusted him so close to me. I told him so much. And then, in 9th grade last year, he was expelled from school because he was trying to protect one of my friends. But, as soon as he left, his secrets started to pour out. We started to find out what kind of person he really was. He just got into relationships for his own gain. That was it. Only for his own gain. He would basically treat relationships as just only sex things. And he was 15. You know how fucked up that is? He's 15. So those of you good people out there, the ones that are going to stay the good people, hang in there. There are more of us. It's just not coming to find them. You have to go through just fucking road of bullshit. Of evil people and disgusting minds and everything like that to get to the people that really do care. To this Bridget girl that I mentioned earlier. She had to go through so much bullshit. She still has. To find us. And because of my best friend Ben, we're gonna give her a place that she can be safe. I'm too protective not to make it a safe place. It will forever be a safe place for all the people that we invite in there. We will never hurt anybody unless they have tried to hurt us or they have done something so bad to someone else that they deserve to be hurt. So to those of you that are going through things and that need to talk to people but don't have anybody, my comment section's always open. It will always be open. Because I care too much. I don't want people to lose themselves just because of this terrible world. I almost lost myself. The depression takes a hold of your brain and starts to change you in ways that you never thought it could, but it does. It finds its way in there and then just starts tearing you apart from the inside. You know how scary that is? Legit having your own mind trying to kill you. You can't lose this war. Those of you with depression, or even if you're just going through shit that feels like depression, doesn't matter. You can't lose this war. Everyone says, no, this is just a fight. No, it's a fucking war. You need to experiment with it and exploit its weaknesses. Like a real war. Find its weaknesses and exploit it. Use it to defeat your enemy. I've found ways to control mine. Like I've said earlier. I found its weakness. Anger was its weakness. I found it. And now I can control it more. And it's never going to work 100% of the time. Never will. Because it is depression. It sits there in the back of your mind like no one cares. Nothing good will ever happen to you. That's what it tries to tell you. But it tries to force you to think that there's nothing left. But you've got to force the good things into your mind. Because no matter how much bad things there are, there's always at least one good thing in your life. At least one. And that's how it should be. You need to force yourself to think of that. So, never lose hope. Never give in. This war against depression is going to be probably the hardest fight of your entire life. Forever will be. But regardless of how this takes place, of what it does to your mind, you need to stay who you are. Because I have had so many friends that have gone through so much of this, but they have stayed themselves. They didn't lose who they were. They have stayed who they were and who they want to be. Never give in to something that you don't want to be. Never make yourself the guy that doesn't give a fuck about anybody. Never make yourself the person that just hides away from everybody. Because that's what depression tells you to do. It tells you to hide away from everyone. No one cares. Yeah, that's right. A lot of people don't. And those are the sick people. The sick people, I swear. You should always care at least a little bit. Now, if someone hurt you a lot, don't care about them. They purposefully hurt you. This is why, with that girl I was talking about, Lily is her name, that I was supposedly in a relationship with. The reason it didn't hurt me is because she never had any specific intention to hurt me. That's just kind of how it went. There was no intention to hurt or to bring pain. And I know that. So that's why I don't hate her, and I never will. All of my friends have hurt me in one way or another. That's people. Me and Ben, we used to fight all the time. We don't anymore, but we used to. Izzy, I've had a couple problems with, and we've gotten through all of it. The right people will stick with you no matter who you become or what you guys have done to each other. As long as it is something that is not evil or with the intention to hurt, they will stay with you if they are a real friend. There's too much that I could say that is good about my friends. Too much. My family as well. Sure, there might be times where my family just seems like all they're doing is trying to hurt me. It'll seem like that. But if it seems like that, that means your parents give a fuck about you. They care. Because if they didn't, where would you be right now? So many of you are probably saying in the dumps, dead probably. If your parents didn't care, where would you be? I'm glad my parents care. Sometimes it might be like, why? Just get off my back. But I'm glad they care, because if they didn't, I don't know where I would be right now. Probably be just an asshole that doesn't understand people have feelings and that mental problems can hurt just as much as a punch to the face. That's something that for years this world never understood. There was so much stigma behind depression, and they always said that nothing in your mind can ever hurt you. But when your mind is trying to tell you that nothing is ever worth living for in this life, that can hurt you a lot more than a punch to the face. A lot more. Because depression is a body that is fighting with all its might to stay alive in a mind that wants to die. Don't ever let your mind win. Don't ever let your mind win. You can't lose this war. There's too much to live for. You might be thinking to yourself, no, there's not. Yes, there is. Even if you've got no friends, you've got family, right? If your family isn't exactly a good family, there's always something that you will eventually care about. Something that will be good eventually. Good things happen just as much as the bad things. But it's so much harder to see the good things. Because people are so, like, they seem to be hardwired to see the good things and everything, that when you do see them, there's not much more of a reaction to it as the bad things. The bad things make you feel like you're nothing. You're a failure. What happened? Like, why did this happen to me? That's what they make you feel like. I've experienced this firsthand. You need to find the people that truly care about you, and you need to find yourself in your mind. Because depression changes you. It turns you into someone you don't want to be. And if that's the person you want to be, well then great. That's your decision. But it can turn you into someone that you don't want to be. You need to find yourself behind that shadow that has stuck itself over your brain. Because if you don't, all you are is just going to be the living image of depression. Because it's going to hit hard and it'll hit often. But there's always some good. Always. And it'll definitely be hard to find. 100%, it'll definitely be hard to find. You need to find people that care about you. You need to find yourself. And you need to never give up hope. Hope is the one thing that will always be on your side. It's kind of like a New Year's resolution, right? You're so excited that you're going to get it done, yet it never happens, right? But it excites you because you're saying to yourself, yes, this will happen. This is going to happen. I'm going to do it. Hope sits there like that. Because sometimes what you hope for doesn't happen. But having something to hope for, to look forward to, is always a good thing. Always a good thing. So regardless of how you feel, you can't give up hope. You just can't. Find the people that you really care about. Because even though your mind might say, fuck everyone else, I don't care about anyone. Yeah, there will always be someone you care about. Always. And your brain, of course, if you have depression, is going to say you don't care about yourself. You need to care about yourself. Because if you don't care about yourself, who are you? Inside, you're nobody. Because if you don't even know who you are, if you don't know what you've become, and how to keep yourself who you want to be, who are you? I've had to ask myself this question many times. I lost myself for a while, until I figured out exactly how to control it. And it's gonna take a while. It really will. And sometimes you never will figure out how to control it. I have a different viewpoint on all this stuff. So this isn't always gonna work for you. None of this probably will. But sometimes just hearing this stuff, someone that has gone through it, someone that understands everything about it, can help. Keep yourself alive, keep your hope, keep the people you care about. And even though it might be a road to hell to find the people the good people, it'll be a road to hell. Trust me, it has been for me. But you need to try and find those people. Because they will be like a sanctuary to you. Because this Lily girl, her best friend Paige, she told me herself that she is her happy place. Being around her is just calming to her. And I neglected to notice that until now. I tried to think to myself that I didn't think this boldly, but based on the way that my actions, it kind of seemed like I was trying to place myself above Paige. Above her. When in reality, that's not how it works. You can, especially to someone that has been through so much, like so much pain. You cannot place yourself above someone that has been there like for so long, that they trust, that they care about. You can't do that. Because the friends, sometimes they will always have more of a relationship with that person than the person that is legitimately in a relationship with you. And it's gonna stay that way for a while. So there's so much I could continue talking about, but that's basically what I needed to say. You can't give up on who you are. Because people may tell you that you're nothing, they may tell you that you're a failure, that everything you've done is wrong. But that's their opinion. What about what you think is good, what you think is an accomplishment? What about you? Huh? Everyone neglects themselves. You can't do that. Because if you neglect yourself, then if you can't care for another person, how can you care for your... No. If you can't care for yourself, how can you care for another person? If you can't truly love yourself, How can you love another person? Sure, you're gonna have insecurities. Everyone does. That's not exactly loving yourself. Like, not loving yourself. If you have an insecurity, everyone has insecurities. At least one. Everyone. You've gotta stay you. You gotta keep fighting this miserable war. Because if you don't, then so much can go wrong so fast. So many of those dark thoughts will put themselves into your brain. You gotta fight those thoughts. You got to. And if you can't fight them alone, everyone has at least one person that really cares about them. Whether it's a sibling, a good friend, a parent, doesn't matter. Everyone has at least one person that really cares about them. If you can't fight those thoughts on your own, call someone up, talk about it. It'll fight it. Everyone thinks no, it won't work. Why would it work? I've tried talking to people and you're like, yeah, have you been talking to the right people? Because Izzy, she's told me before that she's tried to talk about her feelings to people, but they always say, you think that's bad, I've gone through this, 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 and this. But it doesn't matter whether your pain is more than theirs. If they have come to you to talk about something that they need to talk about, you should listen. You gotta find the person that really cares. Never give up hope.